Bear with me, everybody. Hey, wait, one extra. Do we need to hit this to let them enter, or are they automatically there? Lisa, do you know?
They're joining.
Okay, all right.
We'll just maybe wait
Okay.
maybe another minute.
Okay. You can't hear Henry, can you? Because right now I'm just about to mute. Hold on 2 seconds and I'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. We're just going to give it another minute to see if others are going to join.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Well, I think we're good to go, Angie. If you'd like me to start sharing the PowerPoint, we can get started.
Okay, there, okay. All right, welcome everyone. My name is Angie Burton and I am the Youth Programs Coordinator. My main focus and my main office is in the rural area, which is, my office is in Bryan, Ohio, which is Williams County, but I work in Williams, Fulton, Defiance, and Henry counties. We also have Dawn Bentley, who is our Director of Youth and Transition Services, with us tonight. I don't believe Shelby is with us, but she is our Youth Transition and Intake Coordinator in the Lucas and Ottawa County sites in Wood County. And Leah Whitaker is the Youth Life Skills and Recreation Coordinator for the Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa County sites as well. And Lisa, our wonderful, she'll be joining us in a minute to explain more about our great summer program. She is our Youth Employment Coordinator. So moving on. Well, moving on, and I guess just to let you know, before we get started, we can't see you. So if you have questions, you need to use the chat box or the Q&A, and then somebody will respond to you and we will do the best we can to make sure that we answer any questions you might have. Now, I'm done. Moving on. So the Ability Center is a center for independent living, which means that we advocate, educate, partner, and provide services to support people with disabilities so they may thrive within their community. Our main purpose is to make sure that we are increasing independence for anyone with a disability within their community. As I already mentioned, we serve the Ability Center serves Defiance, Fulton, Henry, Lucas, Ottawa, Williams, and Wood counties, which is a nice little niche up here in the upper northwest corner. One of the main services we offer is advocacy. The advocacy, and I apologize because this isn't, it's not new to me, but it's not something I'm familiar with, but the advocacy staff work at local, state, and federal levels to promote positive change for people with disabilities. We impact on a national scale and produce efforts within our key focus areas, which is housing, transportation, healthcare, and public access. I can tell you from a personal experience recently in one of the more rural towns in my 4-county area, there was a complaint received regarding an access issue to a bathroom. And I was asked to actually go measure a doorway to make sure that there was state regulation access. And it was my first experience with, the advocacy piece of it, but it made sense to me because I also have several friends who use wheelchairs. And so I thought, well, you know, I get it. If you can't get to the bathroom, you can't get to the bathroom. Who likes that? So, so it was kind of interesting to me that, you know, that's the kind of work that they do, but they also do it on a more national level. And they've been involved. I know that they've received several national awards for advocacy efforts statewide. Policy advocacy analysis. We conduct analysis to ensure the rights of people with disabilities to live in an inclusive community of their choosing. And I don't know if you're aware, but the current theme has been to make Toledo the most inclusive city in the nation, which I think is a pretty awesome thing. So that is one of the goals that we have right now. And then disability rights engagement, which is just assisting private and public partners in their efforts to also become more inclusive. Now we can go on, Lisa, sorry. And then we have assistance dogs. This seems to be one of the more well-known services of the agency, but assistance dogs, the service trains and places therapy dogs and service dogs to help people with disabilities achieve daily tasks. The Ability Center has its own breeding program and is part of a national breeding collaborative. We do not train pets. We only train puppies that are born through our breeding program. Service dogs are specifically trained to complete tasks needed to increase a partner's independence. These dogs have protected public access rights and are considered assistive devices. Service dogs are placed with people with mobility disabilities, including spina bifida, multiple sclerosis, spinal cord injury, etc. Trained tasks might include activating access buttons and switches. So if you were to approach a door and it has the button that says handicap accessibility, the dog would be trained to hit the button somehow so the door opens for its owner. They also pick up and carry items. They may open doors, cupboards, refrigerators, dryers, etc. within a house, and they provide balance. Therapy dogs offer support and companionship in the home to children and adults with disabilities. Therapy dogs do not have public access rights. They are companions for the home to provide support and comfort when needed. But they are really cool. My son's school has a therapy dog and everybody loves the therapy dog. So it's a good thing. Self-advocacy materials and resources on the ADA are available for download on our website if you have more questions regarding what is covered and not covered regarding assistance dogs. And our website, I believe, it was at the beginning of the PowerPoint and will also be at the end of the PowerPoint. There are many benefits of a therapy dog: improved speech, decreased anxiety, enhancing social skills, increasing confidence. As I already talked about, school therapy dogs serve as a resource to comfort when needed and encourage students throughout the school year. They ease students during counseling sessions, improve student motivation, and are also an incentive for improved behavior. We also, you can go on, Lisa, sorry. There we go. We also offer community living. Community living is a multitude of services that aim to increase skills which can help consumers gain more control over their lives and live independently in the community. All of the services are consumer driven. There is assistive technology, medical equipment, disability related equipment is available for loan or a gift at no charge. All items are cleaned and sanitized before lending. In order to access that service, you just need to contact the agency and we will assist you in whatever way possible. equipment that is generally available are bedside commodes, raised toilet seats, shower chairs, transfer benches, wheelchairs. I know it seems of late, a very popular equipment item is a knee scooter. If you have to have ankle surgery or some type of surgery that requires you to keep your foot elevated. Home accessibility is another option. Home modification projects are completed to ensure safety in the home. This includes aluminum ramps, which are typically temporary, but then we also can provide permanent ramps, which are wooden. People may volunteer to build a ramp if they are so inclined. We also provide just in-home equipment to maintain safety of consumers. The in-home equipment would be grab bars, handrails, low-rise steps, stair lifts, and permanent or temporary ramps, which I already talked about. The Promoting Interventions for Community Living, which is also known as PICKLE project, is a collaborative research project with the University of Kansas and the University of Montana, developing 2 independent living programs to help people with physical disabilities address the barriers they face both in the home and out in the community. A person is eligible to participate in this program if they are 18 or older and they are their own guardian and are currently living independently. And it involves completing some surveys and reporting on basically what their experiences are living independently as a person with a disability. And then our last topic would be our youth services. Youth and transition services are offered to youth and their families to support independent living goals through best practices and partnerships with schools, service agencies, and community organizations. Staff engage youth in activities that align with their skills and interests, including recreation, employment, self-advocacy, and transition. The life skills and employability classes are interactive classes offered to youth and young adults ages 13 to 24 who are seeking to develop skills for independent living, competitive employment, or community-based living. Classes are free of charge and run on a school calendar year. Currently, we are completing all of our classes virtually because of the COVID-19. Some of our classes include employment preparation, independent living, cooking and nutrition, financial management, personal safety, sex education, social skills, leadership development, and volunteering. There is also one-on-one support based on what focus a consumer is trying to attain. They would be assigned to a caseload, and one of us, being Lisa, Shelby, myself, or Leah, would work one-on-one independently to assist individuals in achieving their personal goals, in addition to the groups and classes that we offer. We also offer what's called Rec Club. This is a monthly gathering, I guess, at this point, because we're virtual, where we just try to improve socialization skills of our consumers and introduce them to other consumers that they may otherwise not have an opportunity to meet. We try to offer fun and interactive activities. We have watched several movies virtually. We have also, one time we played an online virtual bingo. And we just recently completed a gingerbread house kit activity. So, we try to make it as fun and interactive as possible. We also provide or offer a Next Step summer program. And this is a program where students kind of get to pretend like they're living on their own. They go to, normally, this is in the normal real world before COVID-19, they get to stay in a dorm on campus of a college and go to work every morning, and then come home and have to prepare meals and get their laundry done and plan extracurricular activities that they want to do each night. There's a lot of interaction with other consumers, but it's a lot of responsibility as well. And it's teaching them their, what it would be like if they were living independently. And Lisa, you can expand on that in a minute because you know a lot more about that than I do, but that's basically what oh, and I do see here, there is a parent information night on Monday, January 25th at 5 p.m. if you're interested in that as an option. And we are now up to Youth Leadership Forum, which is Lisa.
Thanks, Angie. Here we go. So thank you for listening to information about our agency as a whole and each of our programs and what we do. But we're here tonight to talk mostly about our youth program and specifically Youth Leadership Forum. So this is something new that we had the opportunity to start last summer in 2020, which was an interesting time to start a new program. This is a program created by Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, which is a statewide vocational rehabilitation agency. And we were subcontracted through OSILC, which is the statewide Center for Independent Living. So this is a really an interactive program for youth with disabilities in 11th and 12th grade. We'll get a little bit deeper into the eligibility requirements in a minute here. But last year was our first year. We were so excited to be selected to host the Regional Youth Leadership Forum. So traditionally, Youth Leadership Forum was held at a state level in Columbus by OOD. And last year they decided to expand it to different regions. So 5 centers for independent living in the state were selected to host. So in the Toledo area, the Ability Center was selected, and we were very excited for the opportunity, and we had planned on it being an in-person program. Then of course, everything, a wrench was thrown into all of our plans last year. So we did provide it in a virtual format, and it ended up really wonderful. Of course it was different, but I think that we had to adapt, and the delegates adapted pretty well too, and we were still able to provide a really quality program. Last year it was Toledo, Columbus, Dayton, Cleveland, and Canton who provided the regional youth leadership forum. And this year they actually opened it up to all of the centers for independent living in the state. It's to be determined on how many other CILs have joined us, but it is possible that more centers for independent living or CILs have chosen to take on a regional YLF as well. So it's like I said, it's an interactive program that focuses on leadership skills of all different kinds. This coming year, it will be held virtually as well. It consisted of guest speakers in the disability community. We also talked to some local leaders, disability rights advocates, and we did small and large group activities. We did a lot of icebreakers to get to know each other. And interactive sessions, staff presentations, and then we had some things that the delegates were responsible for completing on their own and coming back to talk about later in the day. So we tried to mix it up as much as we could and make sure that we kept the delegates' interest and kept it as engaging as possible. And we'll get into more specifics of the activities that we did in a couple slides here. We'll show you the schedule. So throughout the program, there are 5 main modules that we focus on as far as the content that we plan. And those modules are experience of disability, technology and resources to reach goals, leading in my community, principles of leadership, and living on my own. So throughout the program, delegates will learn about choosing a career in the history of disability. We talk about available resources and assistive technology. and talk about identifying barriers as well. And then throughout the whole week, they work on a personal leadership plan. So that will include specific action plans on specific goals to help them thrive in their community. And delegates will also be empowered to reach their goals in education, employment, and community, and be introduced to professionals with disabilities as mentors and role models. So a lot of our speakers were individuals with disabilities themselves. And I think that was really powerful for the delegates to hear from them and see all of these very successful individuals who also have disabilities, some similar disabilities to their own, and really share that experience and become empowered by that. So through the planning process, we did have a steering committee that helped us plan the activities, make connections, networking opportunities, and a lot of the members of the steering committee were also scheduled to speak had the program been in person. I mean, some of them still did either speak or provide resources or information for the content of the program. So we had a liaison from OOD, again, that's Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. We had representatives from disability service organizations, so both Wood and Lucas County boards of DD, Deaf Services, and the Site Center. We had individuals from schools, educators, different advocates, including those that work with us, and then community members or community leaders. And we met monthly to just touch base on, how we were in the planning process. They also assisted with delegate interviews and delegate referrals, which I think was a really cool process. Although everything was done virtually, we had virtual interviews, and it was nice to get another set of eyes and also give that delegate the experience of interviewing with two individuals from different agencies. I know it might have been a little nerve-wracking in some regard, but I think it's all part of the process, and an important step in developing leadership skills. So I think collaborating with many different agencies within the disability community was really helpful in designing content that was going to hit on so many different areas while following the module guidelines from OOD. So here's an example of our virtual schedule from last year. So what we had decided to do, and what I think, we had good feedback on it, so I think we would continue to do that this year too, is have a morning session and an afternoon session with a break in between where they were given sort of like a homework assignment, basically something that was relevant to the topic of that day, but it gave them the responsibility of finding that information on their own. So our morning sessions and our afternoon sessions were an hour and a half long. We got some really wonderful feedback from our steering committee that had also been doing some virtual programming with youth and teachers that had been teaching virtually, and we decided that an hour and a half was probably a good length of time. No longer than that. We didn't want to lose the attention of the delegates. And as most of us know, whether we're working from home or teaching from home or going to school from home at this point, it can be a little exhausting to sit in front of a computer for that long. And I'm guilty of it myself. After so long, you just kind of zone out and you just need to get up and stretch. So this seemed to work out pretty well. We were able to start early in the morning and hit some important information and then explain the assignment, and then touch base again in the afternoon and go over what they worked on, and then focus on some other topics in the afternoon. And each individual was provided with a binder with all of the program materials ahead of time. So we mailed those out and we printed all of the documents, all of the PowerPoints, all of the homework assignments, and we also provided that in an electronic format as well. So whichever format was best for that individual. And of course, we met early on to discuss accommodations and modifications if there were any that were necessary. And we would provide those to anyone who was accepted into the program. So as you can see here, it was broken up between large and small group sessions. We did have a joint session. We had the honor of Jennifer Keelan coming to speak to our group, but we also opened it up to other SILs in the state who were also providing a YLF in their region. Jennifer Keelan is a disability rights advocate, and she participated in the Capitol Crawl. And that was really impactful, I think, for the delegates to hear from her and hear about her life as an advocate and how much she's accomplished. We got really lucky and we got to take a virtual tour of City Council Chambers, and the mayor of Toledo, Mayor Kapsakavich, spoke to us via Zoom. That was really awesome. And we had had a Toledo City Councilman as well as a Maumee City Councilman speak to us. Many different advocates in the community, as well as, excuse me, our board here at the Ability Center. We had different board members speak to us, and our executive director also. And that gave the delegates a chance to see leadership on many different levels, so from leading a city, from the mayor and the city council members to leading a board or leading an agency, or leading a movement. So the advocates that we heard from as well. So I think we tried to provide a variety of speakers and individuals to speak to them, so they could see that leadership doesn't just mean one thing. There are many, many different ways to be a leader. And we also had them compile information on community resources. The Twin Tech House is a really, really cool place in Wood County, created by individuals at Wood County Board of DD, and it's an assistive technology house. And we had intended on taking an actual tour, but we were able to get links to some YouTube videos that the person in charge of it created, and they did a virtual tour and had some things to pick out from those YouTube videos, and they were able to really see how technology is used to help individuals with disabilities and help them become more independent and thrive in their community. And of course, they had a more intensive leadership workshop. We learned about assistance dogs and the program that we have here, but also on a broader scale. And then life skills, including financial management and employment, which of course are very important in developing career goals and living on your own. We also had the opportunity to bring in alumni of YLF, so someone who had participated in the statewide program years ago, as well as some other consumers who were college students, current college students, and we did some breakout sessions and spoke to them about their experience in college and advocating for themselves and using their leadership skills to get where they were, get where they are today. So we got great feedback about all of those things. So I think that, we would kind of stick to the same model, but definitely expand where we can, all the while, keeping it short and sweet, so we don't overwhelm them or we don't lose them as far as engagement goes. So eligibility, this program is for 11th and 12th grade high school students with disabilities. And now that is current year 11th and 12th graders, so juniors and seniors who are enrolled. So as of December 31st, 2020. So when the program takes place, which will be this June, so that would be outgoing juniors and recent graduates, really, is when the program takes place. That is, the grade level the students will be in. But on the application, it had stated December 31st of the current, or of 2020. So, but it's for juniors and seniors who demonstrate leadership potential, demonstrate involvement in extracurricular activities, or are involved in their community somehow, and are able to interact effectively with others, and who are representative of Ohio. So they have to live in the state of Ohio, and who are OOD eligible. So It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to already have an open case with OOD. That is ideal and that's great if an individual already does. But we can help make that connection and get them connected with OOD. So, and to be eligible for OOD, really, you have to be an individual with a disability who is interested in working and needs some support in, one or many areas. And the application process for OOD is not too difficult, but like I said, we can definitely help make that connection. But last year the counselors and the OOD liaison did a great job of referring consumers to us. So that's something that all OOD counselors should be discussing with their existing consumers who fall into this age bracket or this grade and who demonstrate these skills. They would be bringing it up to them, and then they would refer to their regional YLF site. Delegates who participate in Youth Leadership Forum do not necessarily need to be existing consumers of the Ability Center. Of course, we're encouraging existing consumers who meet these eligibility requirements to apply, but it's not a requirement. If a consumer or if a delegate who participates in Youth Leadership Forum does fall within our service area or fall within a county outside of our service area that is not already or isn't serviced by another SIL and they would like to participate in our services, we can certainly go through that intake process on the Ability Center side of things as well. But it's not a requirement to already be an existing consumer. So how to apply? Any eligible consumer should complete an application and submit to the site coordinator, which is me. My information is there, and also this, of course, is being recorded and posted on our website too, so the information will be available there. The applications we don't actually have yet. Since this is a grant-funded program, the grant will start in February, so we're actually just scheduling the kickoff meeting to meet with OOD and OSILC in the next couple weeks. So we will have the application as soon as possible. And once we get it, we will make sure that it's posted on our website. But again, if an individual is already connected with OOD, they will have those applications available to provide to any delegate that's interested. And also we did receive a lot of referrals last year from schools who have an OOD liaison housed in the school. Now the application is a little bit more extensive since this is a leadership program. It does include personal and demographic information. It asks about their school and extracurricular information, of course about their disability and any community involvement or employment experience they might have. It also includes 2 letters of recommendation and an essay portion. So, it is, like I said, a little more extensive than some, the eligibility requirements for just Ability Center services. But I think that it is just a piece in building those leadership skills, being able to advocate for yourself and talk about the things that you've done. And then there is an interview process for any delegate that applies. Last year, those were held virtually, and I'm assuming that this year they probably will be as well, since the program is virtual. And we have some structured interview questions, but it's not a high pressure environment. It's just a way that we can get to know the delegates and talk about the program, and a chance for them to ask more questions as well. And like I said, last year, along with myself, we did have a member of the steering committee, different members of the steering committee help with each interview. So that turned out really well. And we had a great group of kids last year. We're hoping to expand and get more of the local community involved in Youth Leadership Forum. Last year was the first year, and then having it switch from an in-person to a virtual platform, at the time, I think turned some consumers or delegates away because everything we were just getting used to doing everything virtually last spring. And not everyone was looking forward to that. But I think at this point, everyone is kind of used to that. And I think going into it, knowing that it's going to be virtual will allow us more time to plan and a better opportunity to really expand it the way we want to. So with that, I will stop sharing here. And I didn't know if doesn't look like we had any questions in the chat and or the Q&A. And I know we had some trouble getting the Facebook live started, unfortunately. So so it doesn't look like we have any questions to answer, but we really appreciate everyone tuning in. And again, this session will be recorded, or it has been recorded, and it will be posted on the website. That same page where you RSVP'd, it will be posted there afterwards. It can be accessed and shared with anyone else you think might be interested in learning more about it. But if anyone has questions, feel free to direct them to me. I'm the Youth Employment Coordinator at the Ability Center, but I am the site coordinator for Youth Leadership Forum. Anyone out in the 4-county area, of course, is welcome to contact Angie, and she can forward to me. But if you don't have my contact information or you can't find it, you can always just call the main number and ask for someone in the youth department and let them know that you're interested in learning about YLF, and we can make sure you get the information that you need. So Thank you again for being here. And we hope everyone has a wonderful night. Thanks, you, everyone.
Guys. Bye.